process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NIL and the transfer portal has changed it to where you looked at these teams in the past, the Blue Bloods would always grab at least 1 or 2 really good player, but then if you match them against a mid-major school or maybe a 13 or 14 or 15 seed that just, hey man, they could finish each other's sentences, there's a bunch of undervalued players, they played like a team and they catch lightning in a bottle, that was madness. That's the Cinderella story. That's Richmond Spiders back in the day. That's George Mason. That's these teams that are just, man, what we loved about March. And that is dying a little bit because of it.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What is up, everyone? Oh, that has been the topic, hasn't it? College basketball is dead. It's not dead, dying. I might have gone too far. Hi, everyone. I am Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. We're available on YouTube. YouTube.com/Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, either way. Victoria's here. As she often is, always. I should say, I'm not always here. I won't be here Friday.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
You're not always here. You're most of the time here. We're basically the same.
We've got PTO.
So,
That's
yeah.
usually.
I'm chauffeuring youth footballer.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, we got issues. Got
Next
things to go to on Friday.
I'll take my trip across the state for my dentist appointment and hair appointment because that's
Wait a
all on
second.
the same day.
You go back to Greensboro for
I go further.
Oh, really? Where do you go for? Like, no joke. My wife does hair.
Yes.
People know this. She has clients that come in from the ocean, that come in from Morehead City or New Bern or places out there.
Yep.
And come to her and then drive back.
I am that loyal.
So, okay. So where do you go to get your hair did?
So I get my hair did by a girl that I went to high school with, but she is all the way back in Stoneville.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
Give me a city, a big city near it.
So in Rockingham County, just north of Guilford County.
Okay, that I know.
There are little towns called Madison, Mayodan. That's where I grew up in that area.
Okay.
And Stoneville is a little town right by that. So
All right.
it's about all of an hour 45 to 2 hours. Nope, it's more than 2 hours. To go there, it's 2 hours. My dentist is an hour 45. That's in Reedsville.
Okay, I'm more familiar with that. We should get Tim Peeler on from NC State. He's the NC State historian.
Yes.
Because he knows every little burg, hamlet in the state of North Carolina.
I would have to quiz him.
Yeah, he is from, I believe, Cat Square?
Okay.
Wherever the heck that is. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
Anyway. Good luck
I know,
with
we'll
your
see.
hair.
But yes, that's next week. So yeah, I won't be here. And of course it's on a Wednesday, so Chip will feel bad about it. But
I mean, we've long stopped wondering. There's clearly some problem in the relationship there.
I love Chip.
I did something today I have not done in 3 months.
Oh.
Today. The Hurricanes are playing tonight against the Nashville Predators. And I went over to the morning skate.
Yeah.
I walked in, and our friend Corey Lavalette, who comes on this program from time to time, and we talk hockey, we talk Canes. He goes, "To what do we owe this honor?" Like, it just hasn't necessarily worked out. The last time I've been able to do that, I got halfway there and then looked at wait, they're not skating today.
Oh.
Like, what? I was planning on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did talk to Seth Jarvis. First time in a long time that I have talked to Seth. And, he's good.
Yeah.
He was a little worried when he slammed into the wall during the LA game.
We were all very worried about that.
I contended it was just, when he snapped back, his head snapped back, and his head at the end boards.
Yeah.
But he goes, no, it hurt all over.
The whole process everywhere.
I can't tell you how cool it is to have Seth Jarvis on this team.
I love Seth. Well, as you know, he's my fave.
He is. He absolutely is. So when Jarvis, he's going to be here forever. Like I won't allow it. I won't allow a Hurricanes team without Jarvis on it.
No.
But it's just I hope people recognize just how he's not one of those. He's not the McKinnon. He's not that type. Like Aho's not that type. But he's there. Mm-hmm. He's there with Aho.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good that the Hurricanes have drafted and developed him into what he is, and he is absolutely a Hurricane.
Yeah.
The future is so good for those types of players here.
He's a skillful player, and he's got grit. Those are the best ones because they're not afraid to get dirty.
And and
get weird with it.
I know he's not listening, so he is little dog thinks he's a big dog, which is the best type of dog, to be honest. And I just love the way he plays. There is an attitude about how he plays that fans gravitate towards. My contention is that we will see over time more 24 jerseys than we will see anything else among Hurricanes fans. We'll see more of those.
Yeah.
And in many ways, I will bring up the name of Chad LaRose, who I think people loved Chad LaRose, not because he was a good player, and he was, but it was how he was a good player that people just could not get enough of. And then you throw in, and this is the similarity with LaRose, the personality that Jarvis has. And I suspect over time we'll see less of that only because it is a natural. Guys just get tired of being on all the time. But he is a special personality on top of the fact that he's a special player. And it was just cool to just chat with him for a little bit. And there's some of that we can actually air. With one small edit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was one small edit, and I appreciate the fact that he didn't even realize it.
Just
but
fell out.
I heard it, and I'm okay. Just remember where that one was, and we'll have to, kind of brush past it. But it's good to see him. It's also the return of Brady Shea tonight.
Yeah.
The Nashville Predators are on town. Nashville's no good.
Mm-hmm.
They're significantly under 500. Their season is not mathematically over, but it's about to be.
Yeah. First time Jankowski's playing against them, not with them.
Right. And first time we're going to see Shea here.
Yeah.
Remember, Carolina played at Nashville the game right before the Christmas break, and they got run.
Yeah.
My suspicion is that we will see a much better version of the Hurricanes. Today is also Will Wade Day.
It is Will
He
Wade
will
Day.
be introduced as the next head basketball coach at NC State, even though that deal was signed, sealed, and delivered on Sunday. He will be officially unveiled. There'll be an unveiling of Will Wade actually, it's at Lenovo Center. I believe it's at Lenovo Center.
All right.
There were a lot of cars that normally aren't there.
It's a good indication.
For a Hurricane skate.
Yeah.
So, because the Hurricanes media is not gigantic. There's like 4 of us, other than team employees. All right, let's get right to it. We'll also talk some football. Joe Person of The Athletic covers the Carolina Panthers. We'll get his take on what we have seen so far from Carolina in free agency, where they might be leaning towards during the draft, and during this time of the year, which are pro days, when you are not a team in search of a quarterback, because it does not appear that the Panthers are in that category of being in search of a quarterback. Is it boring?
Yeah.
Are pro days boring when you're not looking for a quarterback? We'll ask Joe Person that question.
I wonder what Joe Person thought of David Newton's question to J.C. Horn, too, at the press conference
I didn't,
a while back.
I didn't. So, you're going to have to play me that question now. You have to do that.
David Newton basically was asking J.C. Horn, like, how does he feel about making more money than his dad? And J.C. Horn was like, I mean, it's cool, I guess. And, like, he just kept pushing the question. It was kind of weird.
Interesting.
I know. Yeah.
I
think Joe Person was on that conference because I want to say
times are different.
Yeah, exactly. Inflation. So I wonder if Joe Person thought that was weird too.
Hey, everybody, you never know. What I have found out in covering sports for as long as I have, you get people who are writing feature stories, specific angles to stories, and they ask the same, well, that seems like a kind of an odd, dopey question. Mm-hmm. And then they ask it over and over and over again to different people, and you're like, okay, I get it. Writing a story that you don't know the angle and all of that, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You know, he's a son of a former player who makes more money now than his dad did. Joe Horn was a good player.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He's part of the reason we have all of these rules for celebrations in the National Football League, because he was the one that pulled the cell phone out and dialed, right?
Right.
He's the one who did that, and that pissed people off like you can't believe. Whatever. So, well, yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. All right, let me get to a couple of things. One will be Will Wade. And this is not about whether or not he's a good coach. Look, track record. He won at McNeese. It's only there 2 years. He won at LSU before that. We know what happened at LSU. I get it. And he won at VCU before that. Track record. Has won everywhere. And I suspect will win at NC State. So, when I go on with our friends in Charlotte every Tuesday, they asked me today what I think expectations should be for Wade. And I thought, well, it's very broad, and I like it because it allows you to go anywhere. And to me, the expectations are win. And that's so open-ended, because I don't think expectations are championships, Final Four, banner. I don't think those are expectations, because those are products of the first expectation, which is to just be a winning program. Because if you only rate a coach's value based on laundry hung in rafters, there are a lot of incredibly good coaches that, A, never got to a Final Four. John Chaney at Temple was an elite basketball coach. Gene Cady at Purdue, an elite basketball coach. Neither of them ever got to a Final Four. Chaney won a bunch of conferences, but, at that point, where they were, I guess, in the Atlantic 10, it was a mid-major league. And, yeah, okay, they played good basketball, and basketball was a lot different back in the, in the 80s when Chaney was ripping it up at Temple. It was just those I'm not saying they didn't have value, but it wasn't one of the power conferences. So, for me, the expectations for Will Wade are simply to be a winning program. And then everything that comes from that's what you can then adjust your level of expectation beyond that. The other thing is, and I think this is what they need to do to get to the winning. And I know the portal, the transfer portal opened up already. I know everybody's gung-ho about this player, that player, this player, that player, or whatever. I know in year one, and by the way, I saw Dennis Parker Jr. from NC State, sophomore guard. He entered the transfer portal. There's probably going to be a lot of players off of NC State's roster that enter the transfer portal, and they're going to pull a lot of players out of the transfer portal. It's almost too late. It's not too late, but for most of the good players, who are coming out of high school into college this upcoming year, most of them already have places to go. That doesn't mean you can't get some, but it's almost that this year will almost definitely have to be heavy portal unless Will Wade is able to maintain some of the younger players on State's roster. But going forward, I've said this all year. Maybe you've heard me say it, maybe you haven't. The foundation for every program must be incoming freshman recruits. If you pull players out of the portal, the ideal situation is that they have at least another, maybe 2 more years of eligibility beyond the 1 year you're getting them. So Duke pulled 3 players out of the portal this past year. Mason Gillis from Purdue is in a 6-year. Sion James, who came out of Tulane, and he's a super senior. He's done after this year. Malik Brown is a junior. He's got another year of eligibility. So that is a foundation piece as well. Whether he's a starter or not doesn't really matter, but he will be part of the team going forward, I guess as long as he chooses to stay for another year. And that is what Will Wade should be focusing on, not the portal. You're going to need it in year one for sure, and you're always going to need it to supplement and fill out your roster. But building foundational pieces in recruiting to keep the program steady and constant and develop a culture of the program. That's what I believe that all successful programs will have. You will always add new elements to every team. It's rare that teams come back completely the same. It is so rare. I mean, just at best you've got now 4 years with a player. At best. Now, because of COVID, you had 5, but until they go to 5 years of active eligibility, which frankly, for all I know, we're actually there. But let's just say at best, you've got 5 years with a player. The guys who have pro careers, you probably have 2. Seriously. That's why Tyrese Proctor is such an outlier for Duke, because he is a pro, and this is year 3. And while I guess it's possible we could get a year 4, it is unlikely that you'll get a 4th year with Tyrese Proctor. So improved recruiting, to me, is the most important thing for Will Wade, but at 1 o'clock, we hope to be able to bring you part of that press conference, and he'll speak to what he thinks the most important things are. I'm sure he'll talk about recruiting, but also supporting the program financially beyond what the university pays Will Wade and what they provide in revenue sharing for basketball. It'll be what do the collectives provide to assist in recruiting. And the NCAA has already said that you can use NIL to recruit because there was no way they were ever going to stop it. Ever. Ever. It was always a pipe dream that they were trying to separate. No, we want real NIL. We're not this pay for play. I'm like, what are we doing? They've been doing this for years. Stop trying to legislate something out of the game that you can't do it. Unless you are going to employ, I don't know, a few thousand investigators, you ain't going to stop it. It's just there. Anyway, so I'm interested to hear what Will Wade has to say. Before we get to the hot button issue around college basketball, I didn't see the game live, but I saw the highlight of Juju Watkins' injury. And look, it's a knee injury. It was obvious. Knees are not supposed to turn that way. She's an awesome player. If you haven't seen Juju Watkins play, dynamic player for Southern Cal, you'll see her eventually. Because there will be highlights of Juju Watkins whenever she comes back. There will be highlights for the next 15 years of Juju Watkins. Like everybody has at this point seen Caitlin Clark play. And Caitlin Clark is a wonderful player. I forget who did it. They did the top 10 women's basketball players of all time. And they had Caitlin Clark second on the list. And I wanted to punch the list. Not even the person, because I don't know who did it. Like, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, and she has been basically the jumping off point for people recognizing that women's basketball can be fun.
Right.
But I don't even know if she's a top 10 women's basketball player of all time, let alone 2. Now, Juju, on the other hand, is nuts. She is so good. Anyway, she's good. Obviously, she's out of this tournament. My guess is 9 to 12 month recovery. She might miss all of next year. So we'll see if we ever see her in a Southern Cal uniform again, because she would be eligible for the WNBA draft, I believe, after her junior season. But she may come back and play another year at Southern Cal anyway. Special, special player. Sad for her, sad for Southern Cal, sad for the women's game, sad for this women's tournament to lose a player like that. But Paige Buckers, my fault.
Yeah, it's. I think it's pronounced Beckers, but it looks Buckers.
Yeah. She dealt. She missed a year with an ACL injury during her time at UConn. She's an amazing player. She had 30-something last night. Your final game ever in front of the home crowd in stores. She's an amazing player too. Anyway, all right. I want to get to this notion that I saw Stephen A. Smith. I need to help you dig up this audio because I listened to it last night. I tweeted it out. So if you went to my timeline, you'd see it. Stephen A. Smith, it's from First Take. We have got Shannon Sharp there and Seth Greenberg. Now, unfortunately, in this 2.5-minute clip, it's only Stephen A. And he's talking about the death of college basketball. Because to him, college basketball is only the tournament, which I get. For many people, that's true. So for many people, that's true. Now, we all know that there's a lot more to college basketball than just the NCAA tournament, but that's the way it's happened. And Stephen A's assertion that with Cinderella disappearing forever, that the tournament will be hurt by this. And I know there are a lot of people who looked at this Sweet 16, 7 teams from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the Big 12, 1 from the ACC, Duke, as a sign that, well, the charm is gone. And to an extent, I understand why you think that. But for the most part, this is, and I think that I have a pretty level-headed view of what college basketball is and what this tournament is. And I've always said about the tournament, it's 2 different events at the same time. The first weekend is the dreamer. It's all about the fantasy of Cinderella putting on the glass slipper. Except that the second week and beyond has nothing to do with that. Now is when we crown a national champion. The first weekend is the fun. It's the romance. But when we get to the Sweet 16 and beyond, nah, man, we are about who's the best team. Invariably, over the years, there has been 1, 2, maybe 3 lower-seeded, smaller conference schools that make it into the second week. It routinely happens. It didn't happen this year. So I understand why everybody's alarmed. This tournament had very few upsets. no 13s, no 14s won a game. Two 12s won, and I think 1 11? Either one, maybe 2 11s. But for the most part, this has been a chalk tournament. We've lost a number 2 seed, St. John's, who lost to Arkansas, a 10 seed, which I find it hard to call Arkansas a Cinderella because they have so much talent. And on top of that, coached by a Hall of Fame coach. So I have a hard time calling that team Cinderella. But if you want to, I am not going to argue with you. We have a chalk tournament. But the problem with that, or not the problem, the reason for that is, man, the teams at the very top are awesome. And we don't know. It's so hard to say that this is an absolute because we haven't seen, it's not like we haven't had NIL before. I mean, we've had it for the last few years. So we just haven't seen what's happening this year happen before. And it remains to be seen if what happens this year will happen next year and beyond and beyond. And honestly, maybe it gets worse in terms of separating the very best from the bottom, meaning all of the Power 4 and other power schools, because Gonzaga is not in a power league but is a power school in basketball, separating them from the middle, which is sort of like what happens in life, right? Right? Is there a middle class anymore? Anyway, and that's what I'm afraid of, and I am afraid of that, but I don't think anything we've seen so far is proof of that happening. I do wonder if we are going to see it become more pronounced. But also, with it just being this year, I ain't ready to declare the sport dead or the tournament forever damaged by name, image, and likeness, by pay-for-play, by collectives, by revenue sharing. I'm not ready to declare that yet. We'll see how it plays out over time. My sense is that this will be an ever-evolving thing, and we might not really get our hands wrapped around it for a few years. All right, Joe Person from The Athletic will talk Panthers with us on the other side. We've got Hurricanes hockey tonight. Will Wade will be introduced at the top of the hour. This is The Adam Gold Show.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, with a reminder, you could go somewhere else to get your mortgage, but you would be making a mistake financially. Here's why. Miller Lending invented the no closing cost mortgage. Gordon Miller did in 1987. At that time, closing costs were in the neighborhood of like $15,000. No joke. You can go back and look it up. And here's the thing. You don't have to pay it then, and you don't have to pay it now. And while closing costs are kind of a fraction of that, it's still thousands of dollars of real money. And if you go to one of those make-believe no-cost companies, those closing costs are rolled into your loan amount. You don't want that. A, you don't want to finance closing costs. And B, a no-cost mortgage should be that, a no-cost mortgage. And what it should also do is give you the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. And that's what happens at Miller Lending. I'm an 11-time customer. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers, and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and cause chaos.
Hey, hashtag. You didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause
I know, we
chaos.
need to go back to causing chaos.
This is interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. What do you do at pro days when your team doesn't need a quarterback? I would imagine it has to be boring, because that's all anybody ever cares about. Joe Person covers the Carolina Panthers for The Athletic. He is at Joseph Person on Twitter. My friend, sir, is it boring to cover pro days when the team is not in search of the next quarterback?
Well, it was boring to cover that piece of it, but it was boring to cover a Tar Heel Pro Day with no Bill Belichick, which was kind of half the reason or more that I went down there. One of the sports information guys said, I doubt Bill's going to talk to us, but is he going to make an appearance? And he said, no, I don't think so. And I called my editor and I said, I guess maybe I should have checked before coming down here whether Belichick. But it was actually, I enjoyed getting out of the office this time of year, and you know, I got to catch up with Dre Bly and Deems May, who you may or may not remember is a former Tar Heel tight end, and Dre Bly's son. I know it's not what we're talking about. He had a good day. Small college kid from down here at Gardner Webb, and they were nice enough to let him work out. And heck, he almost sort of stole the show with very fast 40 and a really good vertical jump.
Joe Person is joining us here on The Athletic. I read that Belichick wasn't at the Carolina Pro Day, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess they don't really help him anymore, although, because I also don't know him other than Omari and Hampton. How many true prospects does Carolina have for the National Football League, at least in terms of guys who might make an impact? I don't think there's a lot.
No, it was kind of a lean day, and it was reflected in the I mean, all the teams. I think they had 31 out of 32.
Sure.
I think one of the West, but they were there. But there weren't any head coaches. There weren't any GMs. I don't know that I saw any position coaches really, other than Dre Bly with the Jets, and Dre was there in part to he was a dad and a scout. Yes, after watching his son run, Dre was out there running the defensive back drill. But at any rate, no, the Tar Heels, it was quite different. I was not down there last year, but it was quite different from Drake May's pro day, obviously. And, I think the hope is if Bill sticks around that these pro days going forward will be probably must-see events for anyone, Tar Heel fans, but also just folks watching the NFL draft to see if he starts popping a bunch of guys into the league, which I think a lot of us expect to happen.
I mean, I think we do. Also, you never know when one of his beach photo shoots doesn't just kind of pop up. I still have no idea the genesis of that photo. I don't know what he and his girlfriend were doing, but hey, it's a nice photograph. You can get a big, large blow up of it and hang it on a wall somewhere in a lobby. Joe Person from The Athletic is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. If you haven't seen the photo, it is a remarkable beach photo. I didn't even know it was Bill. He's got his girlfriend up. He's on his feet. He's hoisting her in the air. It's a weird photograph. Let me get to.
It was a lower body workout for a 72-year-old. Yeah, it was leg day.
Something like that. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. So I just read your breakdown of like what the Panthers might be doing in the draft, and it is interesting because some of the prospects you feel like they are most interested in might necessarily not be great values at 8, and maybe it is a good trade back possibility for them because they do still need a lot, at the very least, depth within theirs on both sides of the ball, I think, but certainly on defense. Do you think they're a strong candidate to trade back, get better value for the pick, and then add something in maybe the second or third round to be able to supplement the depth?
I think that's a possibility for sure. I mean, obviously what you don't want to do is, and all these teams and GMs set their own kind of tiers. But Scott Fitter used to be good talking about this, that they would have a line where they thought the talent dropped off, even in the first round. And so if that line is at 14, then just picking a number here, Dan Morgan's not going to go beyond that. He's not going to trade down past that and just for the sake of getting an extra third round pick. So it is interesting, and I will say I cast a wide net with that list. It was one of the exercises that The Athletic has us do, and I kind of like doing it. It helps me kind of get a little tuned up for the draft. But I did want to look at, and I know they talk about best player available, but this is a program that's still a organization that still needs. I feel like I had someone tell me this yesterday, that they sort of still feel kind of obsessed almost with getting the defense right. And so, I would be tempted if I'm Dan Morgan or Dave Canales to give Bryce Young another weapon.
Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned some of those wide receivers like Tet McMillan, the Golden kid from Texas who, ran a very fast 40 and to me, I think is more in line with what they need at wide receiver than another big body in Tet McMillan, who's fine at making high point catches, but not necessarily a guy who separates and takes the top off of defense. Right. I also remain very intrigued. This is me. I'm not saying the Panthers. I think the Warren tight end from Penn State is just fascinating, but I have told you before, I am a professed tight end nerd. So there you have it.
And no, it's okay. And you don't have to go back that far. the Greg Olsen, Jeremy Shockey combination at tight end was pretty doggone good for the Panthers I guess it was maybe just 1 year, but man, it can be a dynamic offense. And just because we already brought up his name, Bill Belichick had a pretty dominant tight end centric offense for a time with the Patriots until one of them went and got himself in a whole bunch of trouble. But Gronkowski, we all know how great he was. The other guy was pretty good too. And I believe actually got the first long-term contract among those two players. So I wouldn't be completely shocked if they were to do something like that, because we are starting to see, because the tight end position is so important. It's funny how these things go in and out of style, right? Because the tight end position is becoming a focal point again, that I wouldn't be surprised if we saw teams double up on great tight ends, especially if one of them can stretch the middle of the field. But I'm with you. I think Warren is a dynamite player at Penn State. What do you think the biggest area of need still is on the defensive side of the ball, Joe Person?
I think just in terms of numbers, it's safety. And they had a couple guys in here yesterday on free agent visits. Julian Blackman, not long time. He's only 26 years old, but he spent his first 5 years with the Colts and played a lot of football. And then Marcus Williams, the Ravens safety, he really had a bad year last year. I was kind of looking up some analytics on him, and Pro Football Focus had him ranked among the worst, 5 or 6 safeties in the league, pass coverage and overall. So I don't know. I think they're going to sign one of those guys, but I think they're also going to draft a safety, and maybe not super high, but so. But to answer that, it was a good question, yes. And so numbers-wise, I think safeties is their biggest need. But I think from an impact position, you could make the argument that it's edge rusher. And that's because Jadeveon Clowney is, now creeping into his 30s. He played more snaps than the Panthers really wanted him to last year. He was still pretty effective, but I think they feel like he'll be more effective with more rest. DJ Wanham is, I think he's healthy and played well, but they need a third edge rusher. I mean, they don't, DJ Johnson is not really the third or fourth round pick from a couple years ago, has not really taken off. So anyway, a guy I've mentioned a lot lately is Michael Williams out of Georgia. They were down there for his pro day. And he didn't really do much. So they're going to be circling back. He and the linebacker, Jalen Walker, are both having private workouts a week before the draft, which I think that's going to be a pretty important day for the Panthers and other teams that see Williams as didn't have a lot of production in college.
No,
played hurt last year, but it's the classic traits versus production argument, and kind of where Dan Morgan might fall on it.
Here's what I don't get: we watch these guys play all year. And then we watch them run in their underwear, and we completely change our opinions of these players. Now, it's a complete inexact science, so we don't know. I mean, that's why it's so difficult, I think, to project. But my guess is that the tape. How did you play? How did you impact plays? Sometimes it's not. Did you get the sack? But maybe did you make something happen that made the sack happen for somebody else? So all you got to do is impact the play. And, there's something to be said for just that. But it's got to be hard to, these guys just run around, they jump, they lift, they sprint, and then all of a sudden they're the 10th pick in the draft.
I had this exact conversation yesterday at the indoor center at North Carolina, because Bryson Nesbitt, who played tight end here right near where I live in Charlotte at South Meck, he's a very good basketball player. His dad, Jamar Nesbitt, was an NFL player, played for the Panthers, and had a pretty solid UNC career as a tight end, a pass-catching tight end.
Right.
Nesbitt did not have the greatest day yesterday. He didn't, he ran I think right around 4.88 or 4.9, and this is to your point, Adam. And so how much stock do you put in that versus turning on the tape and saying, well, geez, when he had a really good quarterback in Drake May and he was somehow finding a way to get open and be productive in a high-level offense versus what you saw, over the course of an hour and 20 minutes yesterday in the Underwear Olympics.
There have been some famous, remember, was it Mike Mamula, who went from he's a decent player at Boston College, and then he went to the combine, was like the most impressive physical athlete of the entire session, and he ends up going 8th, and he's completely non-productive as an NFL player. I'm sure there are examples both ways of guys who achieve, who are great at the Olympics, and guys who don't achieve, who fooled everybody at the Olympics.
Right. Well, I mean, like Milton Williams, who the Panthers were bidding on and got outbid. I'm pretty sure I think I remember reporting, or at least reading, I don't think he was a guy who had a super productive college career. And, frankly, he wasn't all that productive with the Eagles. But he was also playing on a talent-rich defensive line that was loaded with ex-Georgia players like Jalen Carter and Josh, all of them. And so, I mean, and you make a good point, too. Like, some of these guys the Panthers ended up signing when they missed out on Williams didn't have the best, the nose tackle Bobby Brown. He did not have the best stats, but he's a guy that impacts the game in other ways as a kind of run stuffer, hole clogger. So Derek Brown can do his thing, hopefully he's healthy next year and back to his Pro Bowl form.
All right, final thing for Joe Person from The Athletic. I appreciate your time. We got about 60 seconds here. I am curious, your thoughts. Who has been the best signing of the free agent era, in your opinion?
Oh, I'd probably go with the safety, just Trayvon Moehrig from the Raiders, just because, as we talked about earlier, such a high position of need, and they didn't get him to be a ball hog. His ball skills are fine, but he really made a name for himself in Vegas when they moved him into an in-the-box safety role. And guess what? You may have heard the Panthers couldn't stop the run last year. Well, Trayvon Moehrig made a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
I liked it. I know we're near the end of the time, but last week we had a Zoom with him. And I asked him something. He had asked something about playing tough. And he just said, when I go down in the box, even if it's just taking on a block, I want that guy to hurt. And I was like, that's a mentality. Defending the run is a mentality as much as it is a skill set. And the Panthers didn't have enough of that last year.
Joe Person, at Joseph Person on Twitter. Sir, thank you very much for your time. I will talk to you soon.
Have a great week, buddy.
You too. That's Joe Person from The Athletic. All of that is awesome stuff. All right, when we come back, one-timers, and Will Wade's press conference, top of the hour. Hopefully they'll be on time. Next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And guess what? Baseball is here. That's right. Baseball starts this weekend, and FanDuel is giving all customers the chance to take a swing at $500,000 in bonus bets every day from March 27th through the 30th. That's Thursday through Sunday. It's all part of the $500,000 daily home run jackpot. Just use your jackpot profit boost on a player to homer, Shohei Ohtani. $500,000. That's right. FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct pick. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. North Carolina needs more than 12,000 RNs and 5,000 LPNs over the next decade to meet the demands of its aging and growing population. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, we speak with NC Healthcare Association President and CEO Josh Dobson to learn more about the need and where you or someone you know might fit in.
The people who work in hospitals and healthcare facilities, they really are the backbone of our communities. They are the ones providing care. They ensure quality treatment and making a difference in patients' lives every day. That's why it's so crucial to not only celebrate their work, but also encourage the next generation to step into these roles.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment, they fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Gold. Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Will Wade's press conference, the introductory press conference at NC State, scheduled to start at 1 o'clock. We hope to bring you as much of that as we can. Wes Durham will join us at 1:20. So we got a lot of stuff to do. Right now, time for one-timers.
Okay, so first up, let's see here. What is something that you would hope Will Wade would address if you were a State fan in today's press conference?
Recruiting. I don't think you have to address anything else. You don't have to tell people about financial commitment. I mean, it has to be there. But I think that the bottom line is they need to recruit better. That's what I hope he addresses today.
Okay, so looking at the head coaches of NC State's programs, we've got Dave Doran, who you could say is headstrong. Will Wade also seems to be a headstrong basketball coach.
Yeah.
So how do you see this dynamic change in programs, especially if it looks like more money is going to be focused towards basketball now instead of football?
I don't know if more money is going to be focused towards basketball at the expense of football. That we don't know. Dave Doran has had a lot of focus financially on the football program. I think the program is in good shape. They need to win more, for real, but I think the program is in good shape. Now it's about taking another step on the field. I think all that other stuff behind the scenes is probably as good as it's going to be at NC State. They need to win more games.
Okay, this one was yesterday from Dylan on the YouTube stream. People can put that on the YouTube stream if they'd like to. But this one is talking about UNCW, the head coach there, on whether deciding to stay in Wilmington, knowing that it's basketball, but it's a big deal to stay at a mid-major with NIL increases. So Dylan wanted you to discuss that if you knew anything about that.
I don't know any of the specifics, but I think it will help programs that have some degree of history in basketball that don't have football at the university. So at UNC Wilmington, yeah, I think you could do well in basketball as a mid-major. I do. But man, there's so much that we don't know about the future. Will Wade, introductory press conference, hopefully next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
NC State basketball got their guy, Will Wade. He was number 1A on their wish list. He's coming off a win with McNeese State in the NCAA tournament, and all of that is nice, the sizzle, the buzz, it's great. But so much of it is still going to come down to the same thing. Does he have the NIL money to get the players on campus?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Your Give UNC gift today will make a difference at UNC Chapel Hill for years to come. Join the community of Tar Heels making an impact in Carolina. What are you waiting for? Give today at giveunc.unc.edu.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The final 2 seconds fade. Zeros on the clock. The Tigers triumph for the first time in 6 years. Auburn is on to the Sweet 16. The #1 overall seed. Auburn dispatches of Creighton 82-70.
You're listening to the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here. We're going to get you to the start of the Will Wade introductory press conference in a matter of moments. The Nashville, Tennessee native is a graduate of Clemson University. He started his coaching career there, went to Harvard where he was Tommy Amaker's first hire there. He was Shaka Smart's first hire at VCU, became the head coach for the first time at Chattanooga. They won there, although no real tournament success. VCU, yes. LSU, yes. McNeese State, yes. Now at NC State. We're going to get you to the start of the Will Wade press conference coming up in a second. Are we ready to go right now? Here we go.
Welcome to Valvano Arena inside historic Reynolds Coliseum for this exciting day as NC State men's basketball introduces its 21st head coach in program history. I'm Matt Chasnow, voice of the Wolfpack. Joining us on stage today is our new head coach, Will Wade, Chancellor Randy Woodson, and McMurray Family Director of Athletics, Boo Corrigan. On behalf of NC State Athletics, we are thrilled to have you share in this momentous occasion, not only for Wolfpack men's as a whole. This afternoon, we will hear from Chancellor Woodson, McMurray Family Director of Athletics, Boo Corrigan, and Coach Will Wade himself. Following their remarks, we'll allow media members to ask questions for approximately 15 minutes. Then Sports Information Director Craig Hamill will conduct a private media breakout session where additional questions can be asked. Without anything further, please give a round of applause for our Chancellor, Dr. Randy Woodson.
You're listening to the introductory press conference of Will Wade at NC State.
For NC State, I'm thrilled to be with you and thrilled to introduce a few folks that are with us today. The Board of Trustees are out in force today, and I'm grateful for everything that trustees do. The next chancellor of this great university is in attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kevin Howell. We also have the board of directors of the Wolfpack Club, the Student Aid Association. We're so grateful for everything you do for NC State athletes and for this great university and for everyone else that's in attendance today, our donors, our friends, and our band that gets us started at every event. It's wonderful to have you all here today. This is a historic place, and when I think about, I look at Reynolds Coliseum, and I look at Valvano Arena and Kay Yao Court, and I think about those two coaches, and they were critical to this university's success at very transformative times in athletics. I mean, think about Kay Yao, starting when women's sports were just coming into their own, and what she did to build a legacy here now that Wes Moore has taken to new heights. And think about Jim Valvano, coming in at a time when Tobacco Road basketball was the rage, but had a little bit of a challenge, and he brought back a tremendous winning spirit to this university. Such a time it is now in college athletics. It's without a doubt a transformative time for what we do at universities. It's changing rapidly, and I can't think of a better person to come in here and lead this basketball team than Will Wade. And I am so proud of the McMurray family athletic director, Boo Corrigan, and everything that he's done to build this athletic program and the way that he conducted this search. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the McMurray family athletic director, Boo Corrigan.
We're going to go 10 minutes.
Thanks, boss. Tough getting old. I got to put on my glasses. So many people to thank for today, but let me start with our staff and the people that put on the first and second round of the NCAA tournament, both here in Reynolds. Yeah. Both here in Reynolds as well as the Lenovo Center, and just the amount of work that goes into that. And really, they freed me up to do my job as we went through all of this. I also want to thank Michelle Lee, who's our Chief of Staff, who's been incredible. We can clap for her, too. Who's been an incredible teammate for me as we go through this. Obviously, it's not easy as you're going through this, but, you know, we were able to get through it, and I'm pretty daggone excited about where we ended up in this whole thing. Lastly, Chancellor, thank you for everything. You've been awesome for this university. You've been awesome for this athletic department, and you've been awesome for me personally. So just know how much I appreciate you. Lastly, how about it, Wolfpack Nation? This is pretty daggone exciting, isn't it? Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your support in recognizing that this is one of the greatest jobs in college basketball, and for being patient. For being patient as we went through this search. As we go through the search, we talked to multiple candidates the first couple of days after we made the change in leadership. There was great interest from every person we talked to. Everyone knows that this is a great job. So we weren't in a situation where we were calling and they were saying, who are you? It was, thank God you called, right, as we're going through this process. We quickly narrowed down the pool. I thought it was really important that we get a current head coach as we go through this process. We also needed to be really respectful of our candidates, many of whom were still competing, to make sure that they were able to focus on their team. The last thing we wanted as an athletic department and as a fan base is someone who's going to turn their attention away from their team, right, onto a new job. And we found that as we narrowed our search, and we're able to visit face-to-face with different candidates. And Will Wade became the person I believe is the best person to lead this program. He understands the expectations of the program, and he knows what it means to compete in the ACC. NC State men's basketball has the resources we need for the future. We don't just want to compete, we want to win. and we want to win consistently, and we want to win big. And it didn't take... And it didn't take me long to be convinced that Will Wade is the person to lead us there. I'm excited about the future of the program under Will's leadership, and I want to welcome Lauren and Caroline to the Wolfpack family. There is one oddity in this whole search process as we're going through this. And everyone knows Coach Moore. Maybe everyone doesn't know that his first name is actually Frank Weston Moore. The oddity is that Will's first name is Frank, and it's Frank William Wade. So we were able to figure out we're the only school in the country, be proud of this, with two Franks leading our programs. It is my privilege and honor to introduce your new head basketball coach, Will Wade.
Will Wade being introduced as the new head basketball coach at NC State. This is the Adam Gold Show.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's always great when you hadn't lost yet. So that part's good. So, first off, I want to thank Chancellor Woodson and Boo. And Boo was just phenomenal throughout the process. I know it didn't go as fast as some people wanted it to go, but it was done right. It was done right. It was very, very thorough, and I can't say enough good things about Boo and how he handled things and his thoroughness and just his communication. He had a really good way about him where he knew when to communicate and knew when it was game time and to not communicate. And so just very, very appreciative of him allowing us to, finish everything off correctly. I also want to thank my wife and daughter who are here. They're the real stars of the show. They make it to where we can do our jobs and do it well. And Caroline's really excited about moving and getting into gymnastics and doing some different things in Raleigh. So we're fired up. We're fired up to be here. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everybody at McNeese. McNeese State was incredible to me, and I just want to thank Dr. Roos. Had incredible leadership there, just like we have here, and Heath Schroyer, the athletic director there. They took a chance on me. Not many people would take a chance on me 2 years ago, and they took a chance on me, and I was at McNeese because of some of the issues we had at LSU. And, you're going to get that same passion and competitive fire that I had at LSU without all the arrogance that got me in trouble. And so, I've grown and matured since then, and you're going to get the best version of me here at NC State. So I'm excited I'm excited to be here at NC State. I'm excited to build a first-class program that's a consistent winner. We've got those programs all over campus. It was great. We were following Coach Moore's game yesterday on the plane. Went a little smoother than Vermont, so luckily we didn't have to follow it as closely. But I'm happy to work with Coach Moore. Most people don't know this. I took the Chattanooga job about 2 weeks after he left. All we did was buy the golf cart he had for the program. We were able to get that from him. But I took the job at Chattanooga about 2 weeks after he left for NC State. So I'm very excited to work with him and learn from him and try to mimic the consistency of their program. I also want to acknowledge all the former players that are here today. We have just a tremendous history, and you make history with great players. I mean, it's pretty simple. And so I want to acknowledge all those guys. I tell our players all the time, drink from the well, but don't forget who dug it. There's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work in to get the program and to get our university to where it is. And so very, very appreciative of those guys. And I look forward to meeting everybody and having some reunions and some yearly things where we can all get together and make sure that we're all on the same page. But I just couldn't be more excited. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. This is the first time in a while, I think, the fans, the administration, and the program, we're all on one accord. And everybody's on the same accord. Everybody's singing from the same sheet of music. And when that happens at NC State, it's going to be a reckoning for the ACC, and it's going to be a reckoning for college basketball. And it's coming. And it's coming soon. And I want to be very clear. This is not a rebuild. We're going to be in the top part of the ACC next year, and we're going to the NCAA tournament. This is not something that's going to take a whole lot of time. All right? This is. Make sure you got that on camera. This is going to be done. This is going to be done the right way, and this is going to be done quickly. We are here to win. We're here to win the right way, and we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be committed. We're going to be thankful in all that we do. We're going to be very aggressive. We're going to play aggressive on both ends of the floor. We're going to play aggressive offensively, aggressive defensively. I'd rather tell our players whoa than go. We're going to get guys that are ready to go. We're not going to prime the pump in the morning. They're going to be ready to go, and they're going to play extremely hard, and they're going to represent our university extremely well. We're going to be committed. We're going to be committed to being the best team we can be that represents our fan base, represents our university as well as we can every night. We want to be a source of pride for everybody. When you walk in the office on Wednesday night after we play, we want you to puff your chest out. Let them know, yes, we're NC State, and we whipped you last night. You got more of them coming. And so we want folks that are committed. And then we also want folks that are thankful. Look, I'm appreciative of this opportunity. I'd be lying if I told you I thought, 3 years ago that I knew an opportunity like this would come again. I did not. I did not. And I'm thankful, and I want the people in our program to be thankful to be at NC State. We're not bringing anybody in, player, coach, anybody, that doesn't feel like this is the best place in the country, and that doesn't feel like we can win and win extremely big and fast. And so we're excited. Offensively, we're going to play to our strengths. We've played fast, we've played slow, we've played in the middle. We're going to go get the best players we can and put them in the best position to be efficient and play well. Defensively, we're going to be in your face. We're going to guard. We had one of the best defenses in the country at McNeese. We had a great defense our last year at LSU, and that's going to be the staple of what we do. And then we're going to win a lot of the games within the games. Try to squeeze out 3 to 5 extra possessions every night. And look. Part of the reason that I'm excited about being here is we can recruit the best players in the country. We have a great brand, we have a great program, and the best players in the country want to be here. We've got a tremendous city as well. I mean, this is one of the best programs in the country, and we're focused on making NC State They told me not to say that. I had to catch myself. I apologize. NC State. We're focused on making NC State the best NC State it can be. If we maximize everything we've got, we can compete with anybody in the country. We can compete with anybody in the country. We have to maximize what we have. And so I challenge everybody who's watching, all of our fans. Our first home game is going to be Monday, November 3rd. I want to sell out the Lenovo Center. 19,500 people. I want 19,500 people in there. We need to send a message. We need to let the state, the ACC, and the nation know the Pac is back, and we are not to be messed with. When we're all working together, we are a force. We're going to talk like a top team, we're going to act like a top team, and most importantly, we're going to win like a top team. And that's what we're here to do. I'm excited about this opportunity. We're not going to let you down. It's time to get to work and make this program the best that it can be. I'm appreciative of the opportunity. I'm appreciative of Boo Corrigan. I'm appreciative of our leadership, and we're going to hit the ground running. And we cannot wait to get started to build a consistent winner that's consistently at the top of the ACC, consistently in the NCAA tournament, and consistently competing for the national championship here at NC State. Go Pac.
Will Wade, introduced as the next head basketball coach, the 21st head basketball coach at NC State. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. I have some thoughts on what we heard, and we will bring in the one and only Wes Durham, who just did NC State's win, the women, who beat Michigan State like they stole something yesterday. Wes Durham joins us next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And amid all the basketball, baseball starts Thursday. And baseball means one thing. Well, it means a lot of things. Home runs. And you can share in $500,000 in bonus bets if you choose a home run hitter who comes through. Manny Machado, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. You decide. It's a free country. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold for a share of $500,000 in bonus bets. Let's play ball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct pick. Bonus is issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. And it's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Time is running out, folks. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com. Dennis Cox here for the Law Tigers. The Carolina Hurricanes, the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Sign-ups last until April 6th. The bike will be given away on the final home game of the season, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Some of the best trades ever made are the ones you don't make. Again, I'm sure that there are tons of stories like that.
Kind of like a relationship. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that you didn't go out with. Like that person that you tried to, and then you see him 10 years later and you're like, ooh, dodged a bullet.
So you sound like you've been there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. It's glad we were able to present Will Wade's introductory thank you. And I thought we heard a lot of, look, press conferences are press conferences. Like, we could hold everybody to everything they've ever said at a press conference. But a couple of things did strike me as being relevant there. One, not a rebuild, but we are going to be in the top part of the ACC this year, and we are going to be in the NCAA tournament. Part of that could be because we just watched ACC basketball, and I would say that it's ripe. There is an opportunity in this ACC, and we will start there as we bring in the voice of the Atlantic Coast Conference, a man who deserves zero blame for the fact that only Duke is still bouncing a ball on the men's side of the bracket. Wes Durham. Oh, a golf Georgia hat. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
I normally just stare at the camera, but I saw you kind of tip your cap, and that is quite striking. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How you been?
Been
all right?
Yeah, things are good. Got a Hurricanes game tonight. They're good. Duke's still bouncing. We got three local women's team. You were here for the absolute, curb stomping of Michigan State.
Yeah.
They did the best they could, but it's like, you weren't going to keep water out of the basement. NC State was everywhere. So it's good, happy times right now at NC State when you have what the women are doing and the fact that there's obviously a lot of optimism in Will Wade. We could just start here. We know the guy can win, right?
Yep.
He's won everywhere. He won 20 games at Chattanooga. So he won at VCU, at-large bids at VCU. He was really good at LSU. Yep. I was impressed that he addressed why he was at McNeese State. To me, that was the most important thing that I heard that I didn't expect to hear. I didn't expect to hear about it. But he brought it up. I give him credit for that.
He's real. That's the one thing. And full disclosure, Adam, I've known him a long time.
Okay.
I've known him since he was a student at Clemson. There's a long connectivity piece with me and my time at Vanderbilt. He was growing up in Nashville. Yeah. His family was friends with someone I worked with in athletics at Vanderbilt. And when he went to school at Clemson, that person reached out to me and we connected. And he worked for Oliver Purnell, who, as you know, Oliver Purnell was a coach, and Oliver Purnell was the first guy I worked with out of college at Radford.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was a pretty convenient bridge. And we've not been like Christmas card exchange guys, for 30 years, but we've known each other a long time and known of. And I did games early in my television career when he was at VCU, and then he and I touched base a little bit when he was at LSU because and he and I have touched base through this process.
Okay.
And I'm thrilled for him because he does deserve a second chance. And, people who were anxious about him getting a second chance, well, then you didn't want Rick Pitino to get a second chance, John Calipari to get a second chance, or any other person to get a second chance if you didn't want Will Wade to get one. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for NC State because he is a different guy now. This is and you can relate to this because you and I are old enough to remember this.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of comes into the league at a time like when Valvano, Kay, and Crimmins all showed up in the ACC, except he's just the one guy.
Right.
Now, I would say that Jay Lucas is much deserving of the Miami opportunity. Ryan Odom is a perfect fit at Virginia. We'll see where Luke Laux goes at Florida State. I think that's an interesting choice, and it's a bridge choice in many respects, which I appreciate because of what Leonard did there for a long time. But I look at Will Wade as being the front guy of the new hires in the ACC. Nothing against Ryan, nothing against Jay, nothing against Luke Laux. There's another job that coming. Lord, Will Wade's named and Troy Taylor's fired almost at the same time here today.
Yeah, Andrew Luck was busy out in Stanford.
Yeah, ACC legend Andrew Luck getting busy in his role. So I am excited for NC State. I'm excited for Will. I think it's a really good fit. I think he is going to be – I would not be surprised. I'm just going to tell you this. I don't know anything about this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
3 of his top 6 scorers at McNeese State could be wearing Wolfpack red next year. Sincere Parker, DJ Richards, and Kadir Copeland, whose career ironically started at Syracuse, could all be in Raleigh in the next 30 days. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no, I would imagine we'll see a fair amount of that. By the way, another ACC legend also getting busy these days, Tiger Woods, another ACC legend. I'll just leave that there.
Hey, Marshawn Lynch, Jared Goff, I can roll them off at you,
Aaron
man.
Rodgers.
I told him, hey, first time I met Mark Madsen this year when Cal played at Clemson, I said, boy, it's great to shake hands with an ACC legend. He said, what do you mean? So I'm sorry, man. You played at Stanford. You're in the ACC. You're now an ACC legend.
Go find the lie. Just
There
go
you go.
find the lie.
Go find the lie. That's exactly right, Gold. That's exactly right.
Wes Durham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Wade definitely, I mean, his pedigree, his ability to win, and there's a really good piece right now at Trinity Road Times, which is, an NC State-centric website. They cover the sports, and Alec Lower, we've had on this show before, did kind of a profile of Will Wade as a coach in terms of what they've been good at. And the thing that jumped out to Alec, and as I'm reading it, like he is an adaptable coach. Some coaches come in, and this is how we're going to play. So I'm going to get players to do what I want them to do. He's been the opposite. They will play fast. They have played slow. They have been great offensively or at times bad offensively. But the one constant in all of this is the dude wins basketball games.
That's correct.
And that's what NC State wants. I don't care what you do or how you do it. I've said this before. Nobody will care how as long as it's a W at the end of the day.
I think that's a really important thing to say. I haven't read the article. I'm going to go see if I can seek it. Okay, because I'd really like to read it. His teams at Chattanooga were different than his teams at VCU, right? I mentioned the TV game I did a few years ago.
Right.
11 or 12 now, as it turns out. He was at VCU. He had a really talented team. That's when they got the at-large to the NCAA tournament, okay?
Yeah.
And at the time, he had a player who is now in the NFL playing center named Mo Alley Cox.
Okay.
And Will came up to me at the shoot-around. They were playing at Middle Tennessee State. And he came up to me at the shoot-around, and we were sitting on the sideline. And he said, hey, I want you to watch the Mo Alley Cox kid. I got 6 NFL people hassling me at my practices. You do the Falcons. Can he play? And I said, yeah, I mean, just based on his athleticism and his size, and if he runs well and he does all the underwear Olympic stuff pretty good, he'll be okay. And he'll get a camp invite at least, right? And he calls Mo Alley Cox over and he says, Mo, this is Wes Durham. He does the NFL. He thinks you can play in the league. So there you go.
A lot of pressure.
I mean, not really, but, I mean, he's telling everybody. I mean, that's where he is. He's going to live on that front line. And I respect, like, I was listening to part of the presser as well. Kind of the shoot from the hip stuff is what he believes, okay? And, look, that's why I used – and it might be sacrilege in some respect to say the Valvano analogy. But remember, Jim came here, Adam, with a lot of positive at a time that was a little dark for NC State. They had success. Norm Sloan had won a national title. But as they got further into the 70s, it just didn't feel like it was going the right way. And Norman wasn't happy, and NC State wasn't happy, and, Willis, it was back and forth and that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, the change was made. And when they hired Valvano, it was who, right? And look what happened. Will, you know who it is. What did he say? 19,000 people on November 3rd for the opening game. You tell me that won't happen.
I'd be curious as to see who the opening game is against, right?
Hey, that point alone, they're going to show up to watch him. It's going to be interesting to see. And look, he's a Clemson grad, so I can go here too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of Rick Barnes, the early days in him.
Sure.
Okay?
Is he going to offer to fight John Shire?
I don't know that. I don't want to go there. But that's what I mean. It's going to be important to kind of keep that perspective in mind. And he's already said, I want you to be able to, dominate the water cooler the next morning after we went on the road and, rather say whoa than go, stuff like that. I just think the right approach, that's why I believe he's such a good fit for where they're going.
Yeah, and again, I mean, he wakes up winning, and the NC State needs to see that on a regular basis. There just hasn't been enough winning. Look, I know in year one it's going to be predominantly a portal roster. It sort of has to be. Right.
It's going to have to be.
Based on the calendar, it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't see a path forward for really anybody that doesn't involve a good foundation of high school recruiting, and that's where State's been okay, not great, but I would argue that up the street at UNC, it hasn't been to the level it's needed to be for them either. And yeah, I know. Ian Jackson and Drake Powell, the dynamite players. Nobody's saying there's that, but you need more than just two every year if you are turning over your roster like everybody has been doing. So,
and let me add this though. I mean, there are a couple kids that are on the roster right now in Raleigh who I don't know if they are or aren't in the portal because I don't pay attention to that.
Dennis
every day.
Parker Jr. is in the portal, but he wouldn't probably be in your core right now anyway.
No, but I'd tell you this: if I'm Paul McNeil, I'm going to listen to what Will Wade has to say before I get in the portal.
Yep, Trey Parker
and Dennis
too.
Absolutely Trey Parker and Paul McNeil, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told yesterday when I was leaving Reynolds that Ben Middlebrooks was going to get in the portal.
Okay.
And if Ben Middlebrooks is in the portal, then he's just going to go play his last year at some other place, in my opinion.
Right.
And there are dozens, or no, I shouldn't say that. There are hundreds of those guys in the portal today.
True.
Who, they got the 1 year left and we're going to go play somewhere else. But if I'm Trey Parker, if I'm Paul McNeil, I'm definitely listening to what Will Wade says before I exercise the portal. No doubt about it.
Wes Durham is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I want to get to Duke here before we have to say goodbye, but
sure.
Will Wade can say definitively, emphatically rather, that we'll be in the top part of the ACC and we're going to be in the NCAA tournament next year because we all watched ACC basketball this year and the opportunity is there. To make a giant step from missing the ACC tournament to even being a team that gets a double bye. I'll say it out loud. It is ripe for that.
We don't know what anybody's roster is going to be.
What surprised you the most about this particular year in the league?
I thought Duke would be good. I thought Clemson would be good. Thought SMU had a chance. I guess I'll be honest with you that when the bottom third or the bottom 5 or 6 of the league was really bad.
Yeah.
Was really bad. Miami was far worse than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Boston College was far worse than I thought they would be. I was really optimistic a year ago about what Earl was doing, to be honest with you. And now I am, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of gone through one of the websites to see who's in the portal reportedly.
Right.
I did it last night, and I'm like, wow, come on now. What are we doing here? I mean, Wake Forest, I don't know what Wake Forest will be right now next year.
Yeah. It's been a rough go for Steve Forbes.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I saw something on social media last night where are they concerned about him in West Virginia?
I mean, if you're Steve Forbes, you could certainly make a preemptive move.
Yeah.
Herb Sendek wasn't fired at NC State.
No, he left before.
Right.
Before.
At some point, you stay ahead of that posse.
I think Clemson, I know that Chauncey Wiggins went in the portal last night. My son used to work there, so he told me that last night. And the kid, Del Jones, who was the freshman, got in the portal for them. Look, I think Louisville is going to be real, okay? I think Louisville has got continuity. I think Carolina will sort it out. I'll be interested to see how.
Yeah.
I think Duke is going to lose 3 to the draft.
At least.
Malawach, Flagg, and Knipple are all gone. Sion James, obviously, is a senior. I think Tyrese Proctor's playing his way into the draft, too, by the way.
Absolutely.
So that could be – but John's got players coming.
It's a cycle, man.
Oh, well, and he's going to do – and again, he's going to go find the Malik Brown and the Sion James in the portal that want to be a part of the Duke experience.
I think Brown is back. Brown's got another year. So,
good heavens.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that?
Exactly. And they've got Pat Ngongba who's shown
he's
you.
Going to be he's going to be a really good player.
Woo.
I'll be, and the question I would ask then is kind of where does Duke fit in what you're looking at? If they go to the Final Four and win the national championship, we're automatically going to put them at the top of the card, regardless if they need name tags or not when practice starts. I think that you're going to have 4 or 5 other teams there. You're going to have 4 or 5 other teams there. The problem in some of this, Adam, is real quick, is the size of the leagues has created the issue. You don't have 12 and 15. You now have 18. So the math, as I like to say, doesn't work for everybody anymore.
You're right.
It just doesn't. And therefore, you better schedule November and December accordingly to what your talent level is going to be. So regardless, if you play, you're going to be 14 and 3. 15 and 5, 15 and 2, whatever it is, right? You don't need to be – the last thing you need to be is 7 and 7 going into late December, in my opinion.
Yeah, which is really what hurt North Carolina. They overscheduled that team. Now, maybe they didn't know Florida or I don't know why you wouldn't know Alabama was going to be good.
Alabama was scheduled for.
That was the SEC.
That was the ESPN game.
And the Auburn was part of the Maui, and as was Michigan State.
Right.
Florida, I think, snuck up on everybody. Nobody thought they would be this, but that team is amazing. All right, let me quickly about this Duke team. And then a theoretical question for you before we have to say goodbye. Wes Durham is joining us, the voice of the Atlantic Coast Conference, who apparently has a tea time later because he's wearing a golf hat.
Says golf.
Golf. The Blue Devils are no joke. We all know this. I've been the more I watch them play, the more I watch them take apart good teams playing well. And I thought Baylor played well in their game on Sunday.
Yep.
The more it gets me angrier that John Shire wasn't the coach of the year in the ACC, and this is no disrespect to Pat Kelsey.
Sure.
We watched the league this year. 18-2 doesn't do it for me. How you get to where you are does it for me. To get that collection of talent to play the way they're playing, I think speaks to how good a coach John Shire is. That team has everything times 2.
Yeah. I think that, number one, they are incredibly well coached. I have said this and I will continue to say it. Nobody that I can recall in the years that I have followed college basketball professionally has done as good a job of following a legendary program as John Shire has done at Duke. And people can say, well, Wes, I mean, it's the players are there, the system's there. Yeah, okay. I saw Gary Cunningham almost single-handedly take UCLA to the ground as a kid, okay? I've seen other programs turn loose historic legendary coaches in football and it almost go to the ground, okay? So, look, John deserves a ton of credit. He's the right temperament, the right personality, the right X and O guy, the right connected guy. He gets it, okay? And by the way, he brought Rachel Baker in long before anybody ever thought about what that was, okay? So, that being said, give John his flowers on what he's built. I would say this. I think they are very, very capable of winning this thing out, convincingly in some cases. There are 2 teams that I worry about them playing. One is Auburn again, and the other is Florida. Because I think Todd Golden's got a really good team. He's done a really nice job. Walter Clayton is on a heater.
Gosh, what a player.
Yep, really good player.
What a player.
And you know how much they're paying him? So much that Pitino couldn't get him to transfer to St. John's.
Amazing.
So there you go. And the other thing is this, too. I think Duke represents all the Duke Carolina, all the anti-Duke things that went on in the ACC for a long time, and sometimes deservedly so, and sometimes just out of sheer, envy. This league needs Duke to win the national title.
Oh yeah, it would certainly put some perfume on what we saw for most of the year.
No
Not
question.
to mention
perfume on a bad
prom
dress, right? Perfume on a bad prom dress.
Hey, my prom dress was great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yours was. I'm sure it was.
It was fantastic.
Exactly.
Off white, but all good. Wes Durham joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I think I agree with those two teams, and I do think like they've got Caleb Love in Arizona. So I was asked this question this morning. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this is the way I see it. I think Caleb Love can have one of those Caleb Love games.
Yes, he can.
And Duke win this game by 15. And there's no disrespect to Arizona, who I think is really good. That's what I think this Duke team's focus is about.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Real quick. I know we're burning time. Victoria, I'm really sorry. As someone who's followed this league as long as you have, did it somewhat concern you that the minute that game ended the other day, Caleb Love went over and slapped up Jalen Rose?
That was weird. Well, Love
the
almost
guy
went
who
to
was
Michigan.
All right. Well, and here's the thing: the guy who helped Carolina beat Duke twice in like 40 days to end Mike Krzyzewski's career went over and slapped up a guy at the table who essentially set the trend in college basketball in the early 1990s for so many things and was just like the anti of both Carolina and Duke.
It just shocked me, that a broadcaster would dap up a player. That was the honestly, that's the thing that went through my
on
mind.
the air, you mean during the game type thing? Yeah.
I just didn't understand it. What are we doing?
Well, Jalen. We're getting Jalen in the game. He's
what are we doing?
First NCAA appearance in a while for him.
It certainly is. But
actually, he gets to take credit for.
That's right.
Anyway.
We don't have to. It wasn't.
The
although
other ones
we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know.
Could be vacated. CBS's appearance there could be vacated.
Nice, thanks.
All right, so real quick before I say goodbye, yesterday I had an embarrassing moment on the radio, and I just want your quick reaction to this. So Victoria was playing bump music yesterday, and it was all birthday songs.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, man, it must be somebody's birthday. So I said, whose birthday is it? And her answer was, it's mine. And I just almost passed out because it's her birthday, and I forgot. And
really, time for you to think about things, Adam.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere on the you can see it on the internet. By the way, I sent you that article.
I appreciate it. I look forward to reading it and look forward to seeing you on a golf course.
I wish that you would send out videos, maybe some tips on bunker play or something. Tips from Wes.
I'll leave that to I'll leave that to guys who thought they were going to the Big East tournament and didn't. So there you go.
That hurt me. Wes Durham, voice of the ACC. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you're laughing. You're laughing
because
laughing. You know what I meant.
I know exactly what you meant.
Guys.
Oh, my
Take
gosh.
care.
On that note, I need to take a knee. We'll be right back. We've got a stretch and place bets. All of that comes up next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. North Carolina needs more than 12,000 RNs and 5,000 LPNs over the next decade to meet the demands of its aging and growing population. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, we speak with NC Healthcare Association President and CEO Josh Dobson to learn more about the need and where you or someone you know might fit in.
The people who work in hospitals and healthcare facilities, they really are the backbone of our communities. They are the ones providing care. They ensure quality treatment and making a difference in patients' lives every day. That's why it's so crucial to not only celebrate their work, but also encourage the next generation to step into these roles.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. We're going to place bets here in a minute. I was so close. So close.
Oh, no.
Yesterday. Well, I'll explain in a minute. But right now, it's time to stretch.
Well, it sounds like you're about to say how you had a close bet that could have paid off.
Well, yeah. That was what it was.
Maybe if you did, you would buy some Fireball. Or not, because if you'd like to win it, all you need to do is kind of be old, apparently.
What?
So Fireball Whiskey has this contest now. Because
that sounds like a whiskey I wouldn't drink, and I don't drink whiskey.
No, thank you. I cannot do the Fireballs. But they like to believe the company Fireball Whiskey believes that the older generation is a big fan of Fireball Whiskey.
Okay.
So
maybe they are.
They are doing a contest where you have to be 90 years or older, and you could win a, quote, lifetime supply of Fireball. And I'm assuming that they're doing this with the older generation on purpose because you're already 90. And so if anyone was born from 1935 or earlier, you can go to lifetimesupplyofireball.com. That's a real thing.
Wow.
By the end of...
It's got its own website.
I know. By the end of March 31st, and they're going to pick 15 winners. Now, you don't actually get a bunch of fireballs sent to your house. What they'll do is, it's a very specific number. They will write you out a check for $2,400, and you could just use that money to buy Fireball. Or you could go to K&W. I don't know.
Right.
Either one.
They have Fireball whiskey at K&W?
No. Yeah,
Really?
maybe. Maybe they should. Apparently they should because the older generation likes it. So, yeah, if you want your Meemaw to get some Fireball, just hook her up on that website.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Or maybe you could just have a great bet and win it that way.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
So this is it. Remember yesterday we had 2 overtime bets. I just said Islanders in overtime to beat Columbus.
Right.
It went overtime. It shouldn't have. The Islanders should have won at regulation.
Right.
How that was called goaltender interference is beyond me. We have lost the plot.
We have not.
If that was goaltender interference.
Yeah.
It's especially since Elvis Merzlikins sought the contact outside of the crease. Dumb. Anyway, Columbus ends up winning it in overtime or in a shootout. Doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
Plus 611.
Goalie interference. Ugh.
What a joke. What a joke. All right, you go first.
Exactly. Well, this is also about plus 600. So the Nashville Preds are going to be at the Lenovo Center taking on our Canes today. And you know what? There's going to be a reunion not only with one of our guys, but Mark Jankowski, who is now our guy. Give me him for an anytime goal scorer. And for whatever dumb reason, he's plus 600.
I mean, he scores every game.
I know.
What are they doing?
So this feels like a gimme, but I don't know.
Printing money. All right. Canes, very simple. Canes minus a goal and a half, over 5.5. I think we see some offense tonight out of Carolina. So that's plus 200. There you go.
That's
and I'm
what we
going to
got.
give you an anytime goal scorer here because we have time for it. So let's, is Jackson Blake going to do it? Nope. Jesperi Kotkaniemi plus 390.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Proctor, the three. Proctor fired up.
From the first 4 to the national championship.
A lob to Cooper to punch it down.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
It's been the Tyrese Proctor Show.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Your Give UNC gift today will make a difference at UNC Chapel Hill for years to come. Join the community of Tar Heels making an impact in Carolina. What are you waiting for? Give today at giveunc.unc.edu.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The inbound to St. John's. They dribble it out, and that's it. The number 10 seed, Arkansas, is moving on. Calipari, Despotino, and Arkansas is on to the Sweet 16. St. John's dream season comes to an end in the second round in Providence.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Nick Stevens, managing editor, highschoolot.com, is going to join us in about 15 or 20 minutes. Did you know that not only, and this has been in the works for a long time, has the North Carolina High School Athletic Association managed to kind of still hold on to some power where they can now separate the state's high schools into 8 classifications. What? Based only, basically, on enrollment, as though that's the best way to classify high schools for sports. Anyway, with that, they have also voted to expand the previously thought to be unexpandable playoffs, because right now, it's hard to miss the playoffs. It's about to become damn near impossible to miss the playoffs. No joke. Nick Stevens will join us. He actually has written about that for highschoolot.com, and we will talk to him about that in about 15 or so minutes. But before we do any of that, it is Wall of Sound time.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right. We're going to go a little bit out of order here. We've talked about this before. And I'm saying out of order here because I'm looking at the order of the clips, so it's out of order for me. It wasn't out of order for you. I didn't have to say it. But, you know, again, at one point, I will become good at this. So here's where we're going to start. Because I mentioned this earlier in the show. And I mentioned that there was a Stephen A. Smith clip, and this is not the clip, not Stephen A. Smith. that I watched about the death of college basketball. And Stephen A's 2-minute and 25-second diatribe, right, well, we'll play it a little bit later on. It made little sense to me. I would have liked to have heard Seth Greenberg, who was in the same clip, but he didn't speak in it. I would like to have heard Seth Greenberg's reaction to it. What we have here is Jay Williams, who knows a thing or two about the college game. As a matter of fact, I compare this Duke team to the one that he played on in terms of, yeah, there's a bunch of pros on it, but they are take-no-prisoners pros. That Duke team in 2001 annihilated teams. That's what this Duke team is doing. That's why I think ultimately they will win the national championship. But they could lose. And that Duke team was down 20 in the first half to Maryland in the Final Four. 20 points to a team that won the national championship the following year. With all of that said, here's Jay Williams on the death of the mid-major Cinderella team.
NIL is the death of mid-major Cinderella runs. And I think it still can happen, but I think it's going to be more of a rarity, Greeny.
Because?
Well, there's going to be more of a rarity due to the fact that I think now we're going to see a lot of players that are playing for the Colorado States, that are playing for the McNeeses, that are playing for the Drakes, that are going to get poached by mid-level Power 4, Power 5 conferences, right? And you're going to see teams in the middle of the pack of the Big 10, the middle of the pack of the Big 12, see these players and say, hey, we'll give you 4X, we'll give you 5X what you're earning at your mid-major conference. And when I talk to mid-major coaches, the consistent complaint I always hear from them is retention. We can't hold on to players because these Power 4 schools are just clipping them and taking them away from us. And that's why I think you're seeing chalk as much as you're seeing right now as we get to the Sweet 16. You're not seeing any mid-major left. You're going to see the big boys, and I think that's going to be the case moving forward.
So that is a sensical statement because he's not saying, look, it's happened routinely where players have left mid-major conferences and transferred up to higher level schools. But in general, they transfer to schools that they know are going to win. And now, because of the amount of money that is being utilized through the transfer portal, through collectives, and now will be also available through the schools that are participating in revenue sharing, you're going to see the middle and the lower parts of the major conferences load up on players because we have money to spend. So I get it. And I think what Jay said there is the best way to put it, in that it will be a rarity. It will not be the death of the college basketball tournament. We will still have enough upsets to sustain us. What we hope we will have, and this is where this year was a little bit different. Not only did we have very few upsets, we had very few close games. We had a few. We had very few close games. There were very few near misses for the big teams. And that, to me, was the most disturbing thing about the first 2 days of the tournament, is that not only did we have, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s for the most part, 6s all marching on, but man, those games weren't all that competitive either. So that'll be something worth discussing. Now, locally, John Shire. So a lot has been mentioned about Duke's talent, and the talent is great, whether it's Flagg or Knipple or Malawak or some of the guys who were there in Tyrese Proctor. But it goes beyond that. And Shire talked about the guys themselves.
Guys in the transfer portal that understood it wasn't going to be about them scoring all the points or shooting all the shots, but it was about the fit. And with the fit, they could be really successful, as well. And so Malik, Mason, Sion, they're so unselfish. They're mature. I think, having 6 freshmen is great to see. Mason and Sion, every day they have a routine they do. They're pros. So to see them with how they operate, how they go about their business, I think is important for the young guys. And then, Malik is just the ultimate team guy. And obviously, we want him to play, but even still, he's cheering everybody on. And so I think that's a big thing, just the understanding that it's not about shots and points, and it's about the fit and being part of a winning team.
There's so many reasons to admire what Duke has put together this year with this team. But I love the fact that he called Sion James and Mason Gillis pros. I love that. And I've said this for a while about Duke. In terms of their basketball program, they have run their basketball program like a pro program for a while. And I'm not saying that they've paid players. Look, I know people will say what they want, and I'm not here to say that they haven't. I'm just saying in terms of the way the program presents itself, the way they travel, they treat that team like it is a pro team. If you've ever been in the facilities, you go, holy crap, it's better than a lot of pro facilities. Not even lying. All right, couple of other things. Let's get to the women's game. Isaiah James at NC State, who played her last game at Reynolds Coliseum. What did she have, 26, 28? She was a killer yesterday.
Wolfpack Nation has been behind my back since I came here. Just the love that they bring. They're not just fans; they're our family. They take care of us. I keep going back to last year when we came back from Portland, like 3 a.m. in the morning. They was here for us. It's just to show the support they have for us, and without them, we can't be us.
They were awesome. Oh, gosh, they just absolutely crushed Michigan State yesterday. And I hope it continues. They get LSU next, 2 seed versus a 3 seed. Man, it doesn't get any easier, obviously. Good luck to the Wolfpack. We've got Duke, Carolina in one of the other brackets in Birmingham, right? No, yeah, Birmingham for them. State, I think, goes to Spokane. But, man, Duke, Carolina in the Sweet 16, that is tremendous. Congratulations to Courtney Bangert's team. They beat West Virginia yesterday. Duke won the day before. Should be fun. We found a tournament the ACC can do well in.
Look at that.
There you go. There you go. All right, another great player at UConn has played her last game in front of their home crowd. Gino Auriemma, legendary coach, arguably the best women's coach of all time, on the impact of Paige Beckers.
As I said, she's doing things that no one's ever done before, and she's had to do a lot for us the entire time that she's been here, and she's getting rewarded. Everything that you all have said about her and that everybody's written about her, it's all true, every part of it. So I wouldn't be able to sit here and add anything to that. Her game and what she does speaks for itself, and it's testament to her work, to her love of basketball, love of being in the gym. Just, she's being rewarded. And that in itself is just, fulfilling.
So she overcame a knee injury and missing out an entire season to have just an incredible career at UConn, which will bring us to our last clip, which is about Juju Watkins. But Paige Beckers is a legit baller. She'll be a sensation when she gets to the WNBA. Here's Elle Duncan, who anchors ESPN's coverage of the women's basketball tournament, on Juju Watkins' knee injury, ACL, done for next year. She won't be back until the 26-27 season.
I don't know how more eloquently to put it. Like, this sucks. It sucks because, she's going to be National Player of the Year. She is the face of women's basketball. You could maybe argue that it's her and Paige. And on top of that, It sucks personally because you know you're in LA, Clinton.
Yeah.
You know what a cultural figure she is. You know that she chose USC, a program that hadn't been relevant really since Lisa Leslie was there in the early 90s before she was born. She chose it specifically because she wanted to make the school in her backyard good again, and she wanted to bring them that national prominence. She could have joined any of these powerhouses. She was the number one recruit in the country, and when I talked to her on signing day about why she chose it, that's literally what she said, the conviction strapping her city on her back. She has made LA a basketball town again.
Yeah, she's an amazing talent, and she has I think a very distinct look, right, with the way she wears her hair. She is prominent. I mean, she's all over television commercials, all over it. And on top of that, she plays a brand of basketball that is flat out fun to watch.
She's a beast.
She is an awesome player. She'll be an awesome player. It's disappointing that we won't see her for the rest of this tournament, and we won't see her next year. I'll be maybe she comes back in 9 months, but it's pretty much a 1 year out injury, especially in terms of playing basketball or a sport like that. So hopefully she gets back and she's just as good or better than she ever was, but we're probably going to have to wait a year to see it. And then we'll get one more year to look at her in the college game probably before she goes to the pros. And this is what the women's college game gives us that the men's college game doesn't. We get to know them. We get to see them in college longer. And who knows what NIL will bring, but we are going to become more familiar with them as personalities and people than we have ever been. I look forward to whatever is next for Juju Watkins. All right, so I was at the morning skate today, and Canes are playing Nashville tonight. I had not spoken with Seth Jarvis for I don't know how long. He has asked to not do, sometimes I go to the, at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever, I'll do talk to a player for either the pregame show or one of the intermissions. He has asked to not do those. He has a routine, and I totally respect that. It's only if a player is willing to do it, do I want them to do it. I don't ever want to disrupt anybody's routine. Heck, I feel bashful even talking to Rod before games. Sometimes he has no other option. But anyway, so I was in the locker room today. You'll get Seth Jarvis in the second intermission. And who knows, maybe we'll even have Seth Jarvis later in this program because, he's always fun to talk with. But I asked a specific request based on something that happened yesterday. I asked a specific request of Seth, and here it is.
Victoria, happy belated birthday. There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
Oh, Jarvie.
So
he's my favorite.
I know. And I didn't do a great job with that, but I told him the story, and he goes,
yeah.
You what?
You did what?
So would you wish her happy birthday? It's like, yeah. Sure.
Oh, let's
So
play it again.
Victoria, happy belated birthday.
Yay!
There you go.
He was very happy to do that.
Oh, that's very sweet of him.
Yeah.
How
Look,
could you not love him?
Look, at the risk of a restraining order, because I can be around the team more than I am, because I don't have an opportunity to go to too many morning skates.
Yeah.
It's hard. Do that because they skate at 10:30 when they're at home, right? So, and I don't go to locker rooms after the games because I have obligations immediately after the game. So I don't spend a lot of time in the locker room. I will as we get into the playoffs, and it'll be more of a routine to do morning skates and all of that. And we'll likely during the playoffs, this show will, in many ways, originate from the arena during Hurricanes playoff games. So I don't get an opportunity to see them all that much. But I hadn't spoken to Seth in a while. It had been 3 months. And I walk in, and he goes, hey, what's up, Adam? I'm like, cool. Glad you still remember me. All of that. But he is awesome. I talked about him before. The personality on top of how good a player he is, he's going to be here a long time, and he's going to be one of the most popular Hurricanes ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And I said this last year. 2 years from now, we might be talking about him as the best player. This is not a slam on Aho. Aho is their best player today. But I'm waiting for what's next for Seth.
Mm-hmm. It's bright.
Woo. And we also talked, by the way, about Jackson Blake. He loves Jackson.
Yeah.
He loves Jackson. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Nick Stevens, highschoolot.com managing editor, on the unnecessary expanding high school playoffs across the board. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Move your sports day forward.
I love this time of year. You know, filling out the brackets, it's like going to the weirdest farmer's market ever. Yeah, I'll take some of those 15 seeds, couple of mid-majors, and what do you got on that top seed shelf there? No? Yeah, I'll take that second seed. All right, one bracket down, just 15 more to go.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road and Cary, the guy with the big brain who invented the no closing cost mortgage back in 1987 so people can keep more of their own money. He told me the other day that closing costs back in the mid-'80s could run up to $15,000. Now, it's a lot lower now because I guess we're smarter, but people are still paying closing costs. Why? Not sure. Or they're getting tricked by other companies into thinking that the loan that they're about to get, the mortgage that they're about to get, is actually no cost, when actually the costs have been rolled into the loan amount. You want to finance closing cost? I don't think so. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, where you will save your money. That's right. And then you could do whatever you want with it. It is, in fact, yours. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, so you keep more of your own money. Miller Lending is on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. They are an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. Canes tonight. Nashville is the opponent. We'll get to say hi to Brady Shea, our old friend. Before we get into any more of that, Victoria, I have mentioned before that I have a 16-year-old son.
Yes.
Who is a goalkeeper, soccer goalkeeper. It's good, whatever. His school team, not good.
Oh,
it just is what it
happens.
is. You know, it's a new school. They're trying to build a program. I love the coach. I think the coach is great, and I think ultimately their program will be on good footing as long as they have a number of soccer players who will play high school soccer. Not everybody does. They play for their club teams more than they play for their school teams. My son has committed to play his junior season with Wake Prep. Anyway. We weren't very good. We were like 7-15-2, and they made the playoffs. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs, right? I legit was like, whoa, we're making the playoffs. And then I felt like we're not like the lowest seed?
Yeah.
How is that possible? Well, it's a lot of teams that make the playoffs, and more is coming. Nick Stevens, managing editor, highschoolot.com, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You know that what I just said was 100% true because I asked you as we were getting closer. I'm like, they're not really going to make the playoffs, are they? And you and the guys back there were like, nope, they're pretty solidly in. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, soccer is one of those sports, especially at the 1A level, where not every school has a team. So you got to fill the bracket, and sometimes that means everybody gets in. Or almost everybody.
Yeah. By the way, they ended up going to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So, look, maybe they just hit their stride. All right, so it was 4 classifications of 1, 2, 3, 4A, all of that. It used to be 4A and 4AA, so it used to be 8 classifications. But
that was only in football.
Okay, that was only in football.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go to 8 classifications. But it used to be 256 teams per classification would make the playoffs.
Correct.
And somehow that wasn't enough. Are we really going higher? And how much higher can we possibly go?
We're going a lot higher. Right now, 64 teams in all 4 classifications. That's 256 schools. That is going to increase by 104 schools next year to 360 teams out of 444 member schools. So if you're doing the math, that's a little over 80% of the schools. And that's assuming every school offers every sport. So when you think about sports like soccer, that percentage might be higher than 80. It's 81.1%. It might be higher than that in some sports. It could also change if there's not enough schools that play a sport in a particular class, like the 1A class, they might combine to do a 1A, 2A playoff or something like that instead. They do that right now in some sports like lacrosse, where there aren't enough teams in every classification to have 4 playoffs. So that could be something we see. But yeah, if every class has if every class has a full playoff bracket, then we will have 360 schools in the playoffs for that particular sport, 48 in every classification from 1A to 7A and 24 in 8A.
Nick Stevens is joining us here, managing editor, highschoolot.com. I'm reminded of a time in the National Hockey League where there were 21 teams and 16 of them made the playoffs. So that's close. That's almost, it's like 76% or whatever that is, 77%. This is an insane number. Like, I look at the football playoffs now with 256, and so that's about a little bit more than 50%. And there are teams in the playoffs that are like 3-8 in the regular season. What is the threshold going to? It's going to be hard to miss the playoffs.
It is going to be hard to miss the playoffs. We don't know exactly how they're going to determine who gets in yet. We should find that out next month at their regular spring board meeting. But I mean, math is math, right? 360 out of 444. That's most teams are going to make that. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to do that. They have a committee that's been meeting for months, maybe even a couple years now, to look at how to go to 8 classifications. They call it the bylaw committee. They were hoping, their goal, based on what they put out yesterday, was to make the playoffs more competitive. And I think, I have a column up on High School OT right now about this. I think it actually does the opposite of making this more competitive, because you're putting more lower end teams in the playoffs, and expanding classifications from 4 to 8 does not mean you expand the number of teams that have a chance to win a state championship. The best teams are going to win state titles. That's pretty much the case always in every sport. You're not going to have more of those teams just because you expand classifications. You're going to make these classifications more top heavy. So while they hope to be reducing the number of lopsided games and blowouts, you're probably going to increase them. And, there's been a discussion going on social media today about my column. Someone responded to me with a point that I had not thought of. But in a sport like baseball, where you have a pitch count, even if you are one of the teams that does not get a first round bye in this 48-team playoff, you're going to have to pitch one of your pitchers in that first game to get to the second game against the top seed.
Right.
Which means your next pitcher that pitcher you play is probably not going to play the next game because of the pitch count rules. So, that could be another issue that we see with some of those teams causing more lopsided games in the future.
All right, so Nick Stevens, managing editor, highschoolot.com, and full disclosure, you sent me the column last night. So I read it last night, and I enjoyed it immensely because it doesn't even have to be anything other than data. Did they look at their own brackets? So, again, for whatever sport you want to look at, and I'm not saying that I have all this information in front of me, but I remember seeing the scores in the quarterfinals of football, and there were blowouts in the quarterfinals. Like, if you just look at the brackets, there are blowouts. You can't stop them. They're going to happen. Sometimes the teams don't even have to have that great a separation. You're going to have blowouts. So I don't understand how they can stand on we're trying to get more competitive games and think that making the field bigger is going to achieve that. Whether there's more, fewer blowouts or not, I think you'll have the same number of blowouts that you had before. Maybe the first round won't be a blowout when you've got, the 48 seed playing the 27 seed or whatever, but there's a blowout coming. So you're not getting away. You're probably just delaying the process. What do you think the real reason for this is?
Let me preface this by saying I haven't talked to anybody on the committee about what if there is a different reason that maybe wasn't in the rationale. I don't know if there was a different reason. I feel like we have to take them at their word for why they said they did it.
Sure.
One of the other things they said was they wanted it to be more equitable. My argument about that is it is equitable. It doesn't matter how many teams you put in, as long as everybody has an equal chance to make the playoffs during the regular season. That's equitable. So I don't. If those are the goals that they had, which it sounds like it was, I don't think that we've accomplished those goals. A lot of people are pointing to, it's got to be the money, and everybody likes to talk about that. But I would actually be more open-minded to that argument, because the NCHSAA has been limited by the state legislature in terms of how it can make revenue. And they've been operating in the red since the pandemic each year. So they can only make money now during the playoffs. So if they need to expand the playoffs to keep themselves solvent, that's a good argument to make to have more playoff games. Or if the schools want more playoff games so they have more opportunities to make money, that's another relevant argument I think you could make, although many schools will tell you that in a lot of sports, especially outside of football and basketball, they lose money from the playoffs. Those are things that I think could be thrown out as things that could be legitimate arguments for doing something like this. But if that's the case, then I have to also wonder, why don't we just put everybody in the playoffs? Because that we would still have the same number of rounds that we're going to have going forward. I'm not advocating for that. I don't like that idea. I don't think that makes a better product. But, I don't know. I just have a lot of questions. And the next time we get a chance to talk to the NCHSA and the board of directors, probably sometime next month, I look forward to asking this.
Nick Stevens, managing editor, highschoolot.com. I'm with you. If they just said, look, we need to figure out other revenue streams. Look, we know this. They're going to expand the NCAA men's basketball tournament to whatever number. They're talking about 76, so they're only adding 8 more teams to the current field. But they're not doing that because there are more good teams that need to be in. We know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they believe it is a revenue stream. And whether that's good or bad for the competition, we can have that debate down the road. But they're doing it because of money. So I understand that. Now, I'm with you. If they just said, look, we think this is how we can make a little bit more money, and even if they said opportunity, like all these kids should have a chance to play in the playoff. That's fine too. If they did that, there are ways to make this not sound idiotic. I hope they're not allergic to doing that.
Well, it does sound like that this is at least set in stone for the next school year, for 25-26. So we'll see how it goes. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that schools want to go back to the drawing board on, either after next year or at the midpoint of the current realignment, which will be in 2 years, to revisit. Some of that is going to be complicated. Some of that might be able to change rather quickly. But anytime, I said this in my column, anytime you're making a change structurally to an organization like we're seeing with the SHSA right now, going from 4 classes to 8 classes overnight is quite a big change. And there's going to be some growing pains that go along with that. And this might be one of them.
Yeah, and by the way, there's some other great stuff that we're not going to have time to get into, including just because you have more a larger student body doesn't mean you should be in a higher classification necessarily than another school with less. A great piece on highschoolot.com, Nick Stevens, at Nick Stevens, HSOT. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I needed to ask you, and I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Did you get Seth Jarvis to say anything to me?
No. Is it your birthday? We could use that as your birthday. No, he said Victoria.
My birthday is right around the time that the Stanley Cup Finals would be happening, so we can just hold off till then.
Perfect. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Nick Stevens, managing editor, High School OT. Fantastic. Gosh, so many cool people today. All right, when we come back, if you missed it, the first words Will Wade spoke publicly, I'm kind of assuming here, as the head coach at NC State. We've got his opening remarks in the Rewind next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And are you ready for relatable topics? That's right. My bracket stinks. So does yours. So new customers at FanDuel can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins, $200 extra bucks to bet on anything from clutch shots to last-second heartbreaks, even who's cutting down the nets. Hey, you can get in whenever you like. If you have been waiting to join, no better time. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. FanDuel.com/AGS. Let's do it. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. North Carolina needs more than 12,000 RNs and 5,000 LPNs over the next decade to meet the demands of its aging and growing population. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, we speak with NC Healthcare Association President and CEO Josh Dobson to learn more about the need and where you or someone you know might fit in.
The people who work in hospitals and healthcare facilities, they really are the backbone of our communities. They are the ones providing care. They ensure quality treatment and making a difference in patients' lives every day. That's why it's so crucial to not only celebrate their work, but also encourage the next generation to step into these roles.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
AARP is working hard to make sure people in North Carolina are getting the most out of life. Whether it's helping you stay healthy, save more money, care for loved ones, or simply have some fun, AARP is making a difference in communities across the state. You have a wise friend and fierce defender with AARP. Learn more about progress being made for older adults in the state by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Canes, Predators, Lenovo Center tonight. It's the return of Brady Shea. I hope and I trust that Hurricanes fans will warmly welcome back one of my favorite players to cover. I loved talking to Brady. Super nice guy, dynamite player, a great Hurricane. And it's one of those things when we talk about at the end, these guys all wanted to stay. Yeah. Brett Pesce wanted to stay. Brady Shea wanted to stay. Financially, team couldn't make it work. He was going to make too much money elsewhere, and Carolina could not afford that, especially with what's coming in the form of Scott Morrow and Alexander Nikishin. Morrow, who's already here, and Nikishin, who will be here maybe before the playoffs are over, but certainly next season. Couldn't do it. No way. Now, if the timing were different, Brady Shea would still be here. You just would. But they just could not make it work. But, man, it's going to be good to see him in the building, and I hope to chat with him in about 2 hours over at the arena before we get to the Hurricanes and the Predators. All right. We do this every day. We always rewind. This is what happened on the show. Well, since it happened in the show, let's rewind. And we'll start with Will Wade's opening remarks as the new head basketball coach, the 21st head basketball coach in NC State history.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's always great when you hadn't lost yet. So that part's good. So, first off, I want to thank Chancellor Woodson and Boo. And Boo was just phenomenal throughout the process. I know it didn't go as fast as some people wanted it to go, but it was done right. It was done right. It was very, very thorough. And I can't say enough good things about Boo and how he handled things and his thoroughness and just his communication. He had a really good way about him where he knew when to communicate and knew when it was game time and to not communicate. And so just very, very appreciative of him allowing us to, finish everything off correctly. I also want to thank my wife and daughter who are here. They're the real stars of the show. They make it to where we can do our jobs and do it well. And Caroline's really excited about moving and getting into gymnastics and doing some different things in Raleigh. So we're fired up. We're fired up to be here. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everybody at McNeese. McNeese State was incredible to me, and I just want to thank Dr. Roos. Had incredible leadership there, just like we have here. And Heath Schroyer, the athletic director there, they took a chance on me. Not many people would take a chance on me 2 years ago, and they took a chance on me, And I was at McNeese because of some of the issues we had at LSU. And, you're going to get that same passion and competitive fire that I had at LSU without all the arrogance that got me in trouble. And so, I've grown and matured since then, and you're going to get the best version of me here at NC State. So I'm excited to be here at NC State. I'm excited to build a first-class program that's a consistent winner. We've got those programs all over campus. It was great. We were following Coach Moore's game yesterday on the plane. Went a little smoother than Vermont, so luckily we didn't have to follow it as closely. But I'm happy to work with Coach Moore. Most people don't know this. I took the Chattanooga job about 2 weeks after he left. All we did was buy the golf cart he had for the program. We were able to get that from him. But I took the job at Chattanooga about 2 weeks after he left for NC State. So I'm very excited to work with him and learn from him and try to mimic the consistency of their program. I also want to acknowledge all the former players that are here today. We have just a tremendous history, and you make history with great players. I mean, it's pretty simple. And so I want to acknowledge all those guys. I tell our players all the time, drink from the well, but don't forget who dug it. There's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work in to get the program and to get our university to where it is. And so very, very appreciative of those guys. And I look forward to meeting everybody and having some reunions and some yearly things where we can all get together and make sure that we're all on the same page. But I just couldn't be more excited. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. This is the first time in a while, I think, the fans, the administration, and the program, we're all on one accord. And everybody's on the same accord. Everybody's singing from the same sheet of music. And when that happens at NC State, it's going to be a reckoning for the ACC, and it's going to be a reckoning for college basketball. And it's coming. And it's coming soon. And I want to be very clear. This is not a rebuild. We're going to be in the top part of the ACC next year, and we're going to the NCAA tournament. This is not something that's going to take a whole lot of time. All right? This is make sure you got that on camera. This is going to be done. This is going to be done the right way, and this is going to be done quickly. We are here to win. We're here to win the right way, and we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be committed. We're going to be thankful in all that we do. We're going to be very aggressive. We're going to play aggressive on both ends of the floor. We're going to play aggressive offensively, aggressive defensively. I'd rather tell our players whoa than go. We're going to get guys that are ready to go. We're not going to prime the pump in the morning. They're going to be ready to go, and they're going to play extremely hard, and they're going to represent our university extremely well. We're going to be committed. We're going to be committed to being the best team we can be that represents our fan base, represents our university as well as we can every night. We want to be a source of pride for everybody. When you walk in the office on Wednesday night after we play, we want you to puff your chest out. Let them know, yes, we're NC State, and we whipped you last night. You got more of them coming. And so we want folks that are committed. And then we also want folks that are thankful. Look, I'm appreciative of this opportunity. I'd be lying if I told you I thought, 3 years ago that I knew an opportunity like this would come again. I did not. I did not. And I'm thankful, and I want the people in our program to be thankful to be at NC State. We're not bringing anybody in, player, coach, anybody, that doesn't feel like this is the best place in the country, and that doesn't feel like we can win and win extremely big and fast. And so we're excited. Offensively, we're going to play to our strengths. We've played fast, we've played slow, we've played in the middle. We're going to go get the best players we can and put them in the best position to be efficient and play well. Defensively, we're going to be in your face. We're going to guard. We had one of the best defenses in the country at McNeese. We had a great defense our last year at LSU, and that's going to be the staple of what we do. And then we're going to win a lot of the games within the games. Try to squeeze out 3 to 5 extra possessions every night. And look. Part of the reason that I'm excited about being here is we can recruit the best players in the country. We have a great brand, we have a great program, and the best players in the country want to be here. We've got a tremendous city as well. I mean, this is one of the best programs in the country, and we're focused on making NC State They told me not to say that. I had to catch myself. I apologize. NC State. We're focused on making NC State the best NC State it can be. If we maximize everything we've got, we can compete with anybody in the country. We can compete with anybody in the country. We have to maximize what we have. And so I challenge everybody who's watching, all of our fans. Our first home game is going to be Monday, November 3rd. I want to sell out the Lenovo Center. 19,500 people. I want 19,500 people in there. We need to send a message. We need to let the state, the ACC, and the nation know the Pac is back, and we are not to be messed with. When we're all working together, we are a force. We're going to talk like a top team, we're going to act like a top team, and most importantly, we're going to win like a top team. And that's what we're here to do. I'm excited about this opportunity. We're not going to let you down. It's time to get to work and make this program the best that it can be. I'm appreciative of the opportunity. I'm appreciative of Boo Corrigan. I'm appreciative of our leadership, and we're going to hit the ground running, and we cannot wait to get started to build a consistent winner that's consistently at the top of the ACC, consistently in the NCAA tournament, and consistently competing for the national championship here at NC State. Go Pack.
There you go. That's Will Wade. It's about 8 minutes of his those were all of his opening remarks as he was introduced as the men's basketball coach at NC State. I look forward to online catching up on the Q&A for all of that. But an impressive start for whatever the press conference is worth. And my takeaways from it, well, I want to bring Seth Jarvis here because our conversation was fun. First of all, I was surprised and happy that he made reference to why he was at McNeese State, because he had run afoul of the rules at LSU. I'm not holding that against him. Second chance, yes. You learn from mistakes that were made. We all do. But I was impressed that he referenced it. Not that other people wouldn't. And there are people in this world, especially in the world of sports media, that are not fans of Will Wade. But anyway, all of that, I thought that was good. And I thought we are going to finish in the top part of the ACC, or going to be in the NCAA tournament. So with that said, I want to move on to Seth Jarvis, who I talked to earlier today in the Hurricanes locker room.
Team seems to have come together a lot over the last several weeks. How much of it is just getting through everything that you guys had to go through prior to the deadline?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it for sure. I mean, I think just overall as a team we're playing better. But yeah, there were some distractions along the way, but I think it only made us stronger as a unit. And yeah, now we're kind of reaping the benefits.
The guy who sits next to you, do you think he wore it maybe more than everybody else?
For sure. I think it was probably a little tough on him. I mean, he's one of his best buddies was in here, and stuff didn't work out quite as well as I'm guessing they both hoped. But, I mean, I think he's handled it, and he handled it well as best he could in a situation like that, and he's better for it.
A couple of years ago, you were leaning on him a lot. Like, did he ever lean on you? No? Does he not care? You get no respect for that?
No, he has zero respect. No, he, I mean, like, that's kind of his own business, own stuff. I mean, I'm always here if he needs me, but he's a big boy, and he handles his own business.
All right, talk to me about you this year. First of all, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Kind of feel like I've been in a car crash a little bit, but I'm fine. Obviously a little scary for a second, but nothing too bad.
That was just your head hitting the wall, right?
Oh, the whole body went through a little bit of a shutdown there for a second, but yeah, came out, woke up the next morning, obviously stiff, but nothing of concern.
Talk to me about the bounce back in Anaheim after what happened against LA.
That was huge. Yeah, I mean, the way we responded, like you said, was huge. I think we never really felt, obviously you're on a heater and then you lose a game like that. Just kind of flushed it away and did a good job bouncing back, and then to just come out there and play as well as we did for most of the game was nice.
All right, real quick, Jackson Blake hasn't scored in a while. I don't know if anybody's talked to him. He certainly doesn't. It's not hurting his game. His game has been great. So give me an idea of when you see Blake, what do you see? Do you see any, first year Seth Jarvis in him?
I think he's probably a lot better than I was my first year. He has a lot of confidence out there. I think that's the biggest thing, especially being a young guy. If you can kind of maintain that confidence and build on it, I think your game just expands a lot. He hasn't been scoring because I really haven't been passing the puck that much. I've been probably work on that a little bit, but he's been playing really well with us. Our line's been very good. I think we create a lot of chances. Some have fallen, some haven't, but I think the way we're creating the chances has been good, and it's a good sign of things to come from.
All right, final thing, and it's a weird request. Yesterday, my producer, Victoria, I didn't realize it was her birthday. She was playing these birthday bumps during the show, and I'm like, is it somebody's birthday? And she went, I said this on the air. She said, it's mine. I'm like, oh, God. So will you wish Victoria happy birthday?
Victoria, I hope you have, is it today?
It was yesterday.
Victoria, happy belated birthday.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
That's fantastic.
We got another play of that.
I love it.
He's so good. I think the world of Seth Jarvis.
Now, I don't know how he could be more my fave, but he is now.
Right. It made it even better that, again, it had been a while since I had spoken to him because I haven't been around the locker room lately. But big game tonight because they're trying to stack more wins together. And I will say this, in advance of whenever it is they clinch, the sooner you get to the point where you know where you're going to be, the more they can give guys rest who need it. And there are guys who need the rest. Victoria, thank you very much. See everybody tomorrow.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
What would you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000?